Whoa, this is crazy. Breaking news, breaking news. Plane crash in the Florida Everglades. A student pilot and an instructor had to be rescued by a helicopter. This is a swampy, alligator infested area. I got some crazy footage I'm going to share with all of you, and then we will further discuss. Check it out.
Good afternoon. I'm Elliot Rodriguez in the CBS News Miami newsroom, and we're following breaking news right now. It's a rescue operation going on at this hour in the Everglades. Now, this is in far western Miami-Dade County. The reports we have is that a plane is down. In fact, you can see the plane upside down in the middle of the Everglades with two people on board. The good news is the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue is also on the scene, and you can see one of those firefighters right there. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue helicopter is above the scene, and the information we have from Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, which I'm trying to get to right here in just a second, is that due to the remote location and difficult terrain, Air Rescue is going to conduct a hoist operation to safely remove the persons from the area. At this time, there are no reported injuries. So again, the Miami-Dade firefighters are on the scene. You can see one of them wearing the white helmet. You see the person in the red T-shirt appears to be one of the two people who were aboard that plane that went down in the Everglades, flipped over, and they were basically left stranded in the middle of the Everglades. But they were standing on that aircraft for a good while, waiting for that Miami-Dade Fire Rescue helicopter to arrive. I'm sure they were very happy to see it. And right now, you can see one of the firefighters there on the wing of the aircraft, indicating to the helicopter to make a maneuver to try to get this person up. We're going to stay with this so you can see a rescue operation right now happening right now in the Florida Everglades. Again, this plane went down about half an hour ago in the middle of the Everglades. This is in far western Miami-Dade County. There were two people who were standing on top of the aircraft for a while, and now one of them is about to be hoisted up into that fire rescue helicopter, which is over his head. He's being strapped in right now by the firefighter, and that person will be taken to safety. I only see one person there, so I'm assuming that the other person has already been hoisted to safety on the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue helicopter. Whether you see the firefighter there on the wing helping them put that harness on, and that person will be lifted onto the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue helicopter. Again, the good news is that there are no reported injuries as a result of this plane incident, but we do know that those two people are being hoisted to safety on that Miami-Dade Fire Rescue helicopter.
Sky 10 is out there right now. They have footage of that small plane that did land in the Everglades. We are taking a look at it right now. Again, that plane crashed in a very remote area, and we're learning, you're looking at the two people who were on board when that aircraft went down. It looks like they're trying to notion, hey, we're here, come help us out. The good news this afternoon is that neither of them, as you see, were trapped inside, and at this point, no injuries have been reported. You see them standing up, and it looks like they are getting that help right now. This is a really challenging situation for first responders because this crash happened in the middle of a remote, swampy area of the Everglades, no roads leading in or out, and the terrain is extremely difficult to navigate, so crews simply cannot drive onto that scene. It looks like they have help there right now. We understand that because of the location, Air Rescue is preparing to conduct what's known as a hoist operation. That pretty much is when a helicopter will hover above the crash just like it's doing now. You can't see that helicopter, but they're looking up at something, so I'm assuming it's the helicopter. And it's going to lower rescues down, and then it's going to lift them up onto that helicopter one by one, safety. Of course, this is a very delicate and technical process, especially in conditions like this where they're at right now in the Everglades, a very wet area, a lot of water there. You see that helicopter up there. At some point, again, it's going to hoist them up onto that helicopter to get them out of the Everglades. One thing that, I just thought was so important to note, and thankful that it happened like this, is they're really fortunate that that small plane was able to land on the land and not in the water. As our chopper was flying in, you really see just how swampy and marshy that area is. Of course, it's the Everglades. So landing in water, of course, could have made this situation much more dangerous and complicated what it is. So again, what we know right now is 2 people were on board. You're looking at those 2 people right now. When this plane crashed, they are still out there. They're waiting for that help. It looks like they're being hoisted up right now. Looks like one person has been taken up. We're waiting for that other person. Looks like he's getting a belt around him so they can lift him up into that helicopter. They're simply stranded in this remote area. We're still working to learn what happened, how did this accident happen, and how long this rescue operation could take. Hopefully that is the last person that they have to take up. But again, plane crash happening in the Everglades. You see that helicopter turned upside down, and officials say the focus right now is, of course, getting those 2 people out safely and bringing them to higher ground. So the good news is that they found them. I know for a second, it looks like they actually just got to them. They just have been able to rescue them. But good news that they were not trapped inside. You see how bad that accident looked. That plane flipped upside down. It could have turned out a lot worse than what it was. At this point, no injuries have been reported. Certainly a blessing that they are able to be helped out by emergency crews. They are being lifted up right now. It's, of course, a process, the hoist operation. That's what they're preparing to do right now. So at any moment, we are going to see that person be rescued and lifted up into the helicopter. So just remarkable to see Janice and Christy that, they're rescued and they're okay. Could have ended a lot worse.
It definitely could have, yeah. So our understanding is that these 2, a pilot and a passenger, both are uninjured. One has already been hoisted, and we're about to see the second person being hoisted to the helicopter that is flying above this scene. The air rescue person here is making
the signals
that it's time to move.
And it's also so remarkable when we look at these situations. And one thing we notice is that this plane, for the most part, still seems to be intact. We do see some damage to the front of the plane, but for the most part, seems to have been intact. And as we saw from earlier, as this person, we don't know if this is the pilot or the passenger, but as this person was given the harness and strapped up and everything, seemingly fine, was talking to the rescuer there, doesn't physically, at least from what we can see, appear to have any visible injuries. So quite amazing. And here we go. Always such a sight to see an actual rescue taking place like this. Some information we are getting, though, is that this plane took off around 1:49 p.m. It was scheduled to land at around 2:30 p.m. And it took off from Miami Executive Airport and was supposed to land. So this was about a 45 minute flight. It was supposed to be a quick flight.
Right.
And obviously we know Miami Executive Airport not far from the Everglades in this area. So we do know that this was probably just shy of reaching its destination.
Exactly. And so now that person is safely into the waiting helicopter. Always so interesting to see this technical rescue done live right here on air, but so thankful that both of these individuals, both the pilot and the passenger, seem to be in pretty good shape. The plane a little bit damaged, but apparently had some sort of a soft crash or a landing
soft
there.
Turnover.
Exactly,
if you will.
and did do a flip there in the marsh. So
yeah, they will have quite the story to tell, I am sure.
Absolutely.
And of course, we're going to let you know if we get any other updates about what happened, and if we do manage to talk to those 2 people on board that aircraft, we'll of course bring it to you right here on Local 10.
Insane, right? Lucky they are alive. The plane was upside down. There's a lot of alligators, anacondas, snakes, poisonous things out there. Woo! Thank God they got rescued, because who knows how long they would have been out there and been able to live. I guess they would have stayed on top of that aircraft there. Scary stuff, folks, but I wanted to share what happened today in the Everglades. Let me know what you think. Sub to the channel, hit the notification button. We cover the plane crashes. We cover the helicopter crashes. Last night, helicopter crashed on a Highway 50 in Sacramento. Crazy stuff. 2 back-to-back crashes here. No fatalities, thank God. We'll continue to monitor the airs. JLR investigates. Stay safe out there. Happy flying, folks. We'll talk soon. Stay tuned.